It is a universal truth, but one rarely articulated with equal force, that the playing field of life is never level. Some of us are born into gardens that have been cultivated for generations. Their land is their legacy, their accumulated capital, their relationships woven before they even cry out. Doors are not to be knocked on, but carpeted paths that open automatically, inviting them into a future that has already been planned. Their launch pad is stability, a safety net woven of gold. But this story is not for them. This story is for us, the children of the East, raised among the teachings of petal-thin stability, surrounded by the mold of safety to the point of confinement. We do not inherit land, we inherit unfulfilled dreams and the burden of expectations. Every morning, when the light creeps through the crack in a door, reality is not a soft bed but the cold concrete floor of circumstances. We feel crushed by the gravity of scarcity. We plow, we sow with sweat on the barren soil of opportunity, but the harvest seems a luxury, a mirage on the horizon. The feeling of exhaustion, the feeling of toiling without seeing any results, is like a farmer sowing seeds on rocks. In the midst of these moments of extreme despair, when energy is depleted and faith is eroded, a ray of thought flashes, not as a hollow consolation, but as a reclamation blade driven into the hard ground. It is not a mantra, but a new physical law of the spirit. No soil, grow from yourself. Growing up on the cusp of scarcity is not a literary metaphor to soothe the pain. It is a survival strategy, a philosophy of action, a consciously chosen way of life. When you are stripped of tangible advantages, money, connections, status, the universe forces you to turn inward and tap into an infinite resource that no one can take away, the potential of wisdom. The only thing you truly possess is not a portfolio of assets, but the ability to ask sharp questions, the endless curiosity to learn new things, the magical ability to connect the small, disparate dots of ideas into a constellation of values that others crave. Knowledge, when it is no longer a collection of dead information, but organized, systematized, turned into action, becomes a more fertile territory than any physical land. It is a territory where you are the map maker, the rule maker, and no one can invade or take it from you. Right now, your pockets may be empty, your social standing may be zero, and your confidence may be worn down to the core. But in your head, there is always a space, a piece of uncultivated land waiting to be planted. That is the land of thinking. Plant the right seed of thinking there, and cultivate it every day with the smallest iron discipline, and you are starting the greatest creation of your life. To turn philosophy into reality, listen to the story of a young man who works as a night delivery man. His world is empty streets, yellow lights, and the repetitive sound of engines. Between two rides, in the short silences, instead of aimlessly scrolling through social networks, he turns his old phone into a university. He devours free lessons on copywriting, on the principles of sales, on basic design thinking. He does not learn to know. He learned to decode. He turned abstract knowledge into formulas, checklists that could be acted upon immediately. In a crumpled notebook, he wrote down 5 headlines that create instant curiosity, 3 product shooting angles using only a phone flashlight and a blank piece of paper, 4 steps to reply to customer messages to increase the closing rate by 50%. He was building his own intellectual arsenal. Knowledge that is not applied will evaporate. After 3 months of diligently planting in his mind, a small opportunity sprouted. A customer, the owner of a small fashion store in a neighborhood, complained about the new arrivals, but no one knew about them. The delivery boy boldly offered, "I can take pictures and write an advertisement for you, for a cheap price." With his homemade formulas, he transformed ordinary products into extraordinary products. 2 weeks later, the entire new stock of that store was sold out. The miracle did not come from luck, it came from the systematic application of knowledge. Word spread. From one customer, he got 2, then 5, then 10. No one gave him a single inch of land. He planted the seeds of knowledge in the only land he owned, his mind. Then, with perseverance, he cultivated them, turned them into skill trees, and harvested the first sweet fruits of income with just a phone, a notebook, and an unshakable discipline. You, like him, can start right where you are, with what you have. Don't wait for a perfect day or a perfect opportunity. Because opportunity is not something you start with, it is something you plan in advance. Start with a quiet hour each day to learn. A list of questions that force you to think deeply. A small skill that you can practice to become better than 99% of the people around you. A journaling habit that turns floating knowledge into permanent intellectual property. When you master the art of turning knowledge into value, time into product, and network into cash flow, you are revolutionizing from within. You are opening doors that you thought only others had the keys to. This book is not a sedative, not a promise of getting rich in 7 days. It is a toolkit, a map for those who are tired of standing on the sidelines, begging for opportunity. It's for those who have decided to become the chief architects of their own destiny. It's for those who have understood the core difference, the group of manual workers who exchange sweat for pennies, while the group of intellectual workers use systems to multiply value exponentially. Here, you won't find fancy skills, or empty advice. You will find the right root thinking, the foundation on which all success is built. Sharp methodology, proven paths to get from idea to result. Real-life examples, to see that it's possible. Practical exercises, to turn reading into action, so that knowledge is not only stored but also germinated, grown, and spread. Maybe right now, you're surrounded by a thick layer of old habits, of procrastination, of fear of judgment, of limiting beliefs. That's okay. The strongest cement wall begins to crack from the smallest crow's feet. Every page you read, every line you write, every time you dare to try a new idea, even the craziest one, is a crack created in that shell. And then, one day, through those cracks, a green shoot will rise. It rises silently, but with inner strength. So calm, so steadfast. And when it rises, no force can stop it anymore. Let this mantra be your guide, starting today. When your hands are empty, your head must be full. When your pockets are not yet full, your mind must be strong. When your feet have no soil, your mind must know how to plant. You don't need anyone's permission to start a revolution in your mind. Start right now, right here, with the smallest seed you have. Plant it, cultivate it, until the day comes when you no longer have to ask yourself, where is my soil? Because then you have a fertile universe in your own brain. Imagine watching a person of average size lift a rock 10 times their body weight. What will astound you is not their incredible muscle strength, but their clever use of levers, pulleys, and the laws of physics. They don't fight gravity, they navigate it. Multidimensional thinking works exactly like that. It's not a magic bullet that will give you a higher IQ or a super brain. It's a mental operating system, a methodological structure that helps you use the same resources to create exponentially greater results. In life and career, it is the ability to systematically apply mind, consciousness, tools, processes, and networks to amplify personal value, breaking the physical limitations of time and energy. That's why a single individual can build $1 million business. That's how a small idea, when put into the right system, can shake up a market. And that's the only right starting point if you have nothing but a burning desire to change reality. The first core thing that needs to be broken is the misconception that multidimensional thinking is synonymous with being innately intelligent. Many people think that to have this mindset, you must graduate from prestigious universities, read thousands of books, and possess a wealth of knowledge. The reality is completely the opposite. Multidimensional thinking is not about the amount of knowledge you accumulate, but about how you connect, organize, and transform that knowledge into practical value. A car mechanic may not be well versed in Greek philosophy, but if he knows how to systematize the repair process, create checklists so that a new mechanic can do 80% of the work of an expert, knows how to use software to manage customers, and automatically remind maintenance schedules, then he is operating multidimensional thinking at a high level. Conversely, a professor can read 10 languages fluently, research dozens of scientific fields, but if all that knowledge just stays in his head, not transformed into a moving lecture, a life-changing book, a useful product, or a system that can spread, then that is not multidimensional thinking. It is just a static library. A collection of knowledge that has not been activated. Multidimensional thinking only truly exists when it is applied, rubbed against reality, and repeated to create increasingly greater results. One of the most obvious differences between linear thinkers and lateral thinkers is how they create value and income. Linear thinkers, they operate on the exchange time and effort for money model. If you work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. If you want to earn more money, you have to work overtime, take on more work. Your income is directly proportional to the number of hours you put in. They are like a carriage driver. Each turn of the wheel requires a new whip, a new effort. You cannot stop, you cannot let go, because if you do, the income carriage will stop immediately. This is a safe, easy to understand path, but it has a tangible limit, human time, and energy. Lateral thinkers, they think like a mathematician, an engineer. Instead of selling time, they invest time. They spend the early stages building a machine, a system, a process, a product. Once the machine is built, it runs on its own, and continues to create value, even when they are not physically present. Look at a programmer writing a piece of software, or a content creator creating an online course. Initially, they may spend hundreds, even thousands of hours creating the first product without any income. But once that product is complete, they can sell it to 100 people, 1,000 people, or 1 million people at almost zero replication costs. While a linear worker can only increase their income by working more, a multidimensional thinker increases their income by amplifying the impact of each hour worked. That is why, in the same amount of time, one person can generate hundreds, even thousands, of times more income than another. Not because they worked harder blindly, but because they invested their efforts in the right things, building leverage. Lateral thinking is not a vague concept. It is a construct that can be learned and built, consisting of many layers. Imagine it as a complex machine with 5 main gears, each gear amplifying the power of the previous gear. The first pillar, codified knowledge, the seed of everything. This is the foundation. But knowledge here is not discrete facts, but the ability to turn information into mental models, formulas, processes. Mental models. Instead of treating every situation as if it were a new one, people with multidimensional thinking apply proven models like the 80-20th rule, first principles thinking, the Eisenhower matrix, to make decisions faster and more accurately. Formulas and checklists. They turn their successful experiences into repeatable formulas. Each time they apply them, they refine and improve these models and formulas, turning them into an increasingly sharp set of intellectual tools. This is the first step in turning intangible knowledge into tangible assets. The second pillar, technology and automation, the extended arms of intelligence. Technology is the ultimate lever that allows you to do the work once and benefit forever. It is the way to clone yourself without magic. An automated email marketing system that takes care of customers. An AI bot that processes and sorts thousands of customer requests. An online course selling platform works 24/7, even while you sleep. Non-techies have to start all the processes from scratch. Lateral thinking operators set up the system once, and let it run almost forever. This is the only way to free up time from repetitive, boring tasks, and focus energy on things that only humans can do: creativity, strategy, and deep connection. The third pillar, systemization, is the skeleton that ensures quality and replication. Without systems, success is just a fluke. With systems, success becomes a predictable, repeatable outcome. Systemization is the process of converting individual knowledge and skills into a standardized process, a production line that anyone can operate without depending on a specific individual. A good system allows a novice to achieve 80% of the quality of an expert. A good system frees experts from the basic work so they can focus on creating new breakthroughs. The fourth pillar, resonant network, the soil where the seeds of wisdom germinate. Knowledge is the seed, but the network is the soil. An idea, no matter how brilliant, will die if no one knows, no one applies, no one spreads. A network according to multidimensional thinking is not just a list of relationships. It is an ecosystem of relationships based on value and trust. When you share knowledge and help others succeed, they will become voluntary ambassadors, multiplying your value and reputation. A supportive community will help you test new ideas faster, get more honest and accurate feedback, and open doors of opportunity that you would never see on your own. The fifth pillar. The invisible amplification, personal brand. Personal brand is the result of the resonance of the 4 pillars above. It is the copy of your image, value, and reputation in the minds of others. A strong personal brand helps you gain trust before you've even tested it. It helps your product stand out from the crowd. It attracts opportunities, talent, and partners naturally. Branding isn't about polishing your name, it's about consistently keeping your promises between your actions and your words. Every time you deliver real value, every time you exceed expectations, you're adding credit to your brand bank. And that bank will pay you back in future opportunities, value, and exponential growth. Important warning. Multidimensional thinking is a double-edged sword. A system built on the wrong foundation will replicate that mistake faster than you can imagine. A technology applied for the wrong purpose will become a time and money-burning machine. A negative network will drag you into a downward spiral. Therefore, the foundation of this entire structure is not only intelligence, but also discipline, integrity, and ethics. Multidimensional thinking is not a shortcut to get rich quick, but a path to build a solid foundation of values and accelerate sustainably. Most of us are living inside an invisible prison. Its walls are not made of bricks and stones, but are woven from a deep-rooted belief: more effort brings better results. We believe that the path to success is a straight line, a gentle slope. If we want to go further, we just need to walk faster, walk more. This is the logic of linear progress. It is a safe, understandable, and socially accepted logic. But it is also the most sophisticated trap that holds back human potential. Because when you operate with linear thinking, you are running on a treadmill. You may sweat profusely, your heart may be pounding, you may feel like you are moving non-stop, but after an hour, you are still standing in the same place. Your income may increase by 5 to 10% per year, but your freedom will not. Time is a constant. Energy is a finite resource. Youth does not last forever. If you want to create a real breakthrough, you must dare to step off that linear track. You must learn to bend the line of effort and enter the orbit of exponential growth. The key to unlocking the door is the exponential mindset. The exponential mindset is not just about creating small values efficiently. It is about taking actions that, once done correctly, can create value repeatedly, almost indefinitely, with near zero effort. The linear thinker wonders, how can I get more done in a day? Exponential thinkers ask themselves, how can I build a system that will get that done every day without me? They don't put their effort into doing. They put their intelligence into building structures. They don't ask how to do it faster. They ask how to never have to do it again. Exponential thinking isn't a trick. It's the result of building structures that replicate themselves. A person who rents out real estate is buying back their time. The income stream continues even when they are on vacation. A person who creates a digital product can sell the same asset to thousands of people. The income goes up, but the labor required to create the product remains the same. A person spends time optimizing an automated system, which may be very hard at first, but then the system operates for them even in their sleep. That's the fundamental difference. Linear thinkers create value by adding hours of work. Exponential thinkers create value by multiplying the impact of a unit of time. To think this way, you need to let go of the habit of looking only at what's right in front of you and start cultivating a long-term vision. One of the most fundamental and powerful principles of exponential thinking is the 1% daily rule. If you can get 1% better every day in a certain area, after a year you won't be 365% better. You'll be almost 38 times better. The reason lies in the power of compounding. Growth isn't just compounded, it's multiplied by the previous day's gains. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. It starts small and rolls slowly. But the more it rolls, the bigger it gets, and the bigger it gets, the more snow it attracts, increasing its speed exponentially. The fatal problem is, most people give up before the snowball has a chance to grow. The early stages of exponential growth always look like a straight line. It's slow, boring, and almost imperceptible. The first 30 days of 1% improvement only make you 1.3x better. 90 days only make you 2.4x better. This stage is called the Valley of Disappointment. This is where your will is tested, where your faith is shaken. You feel like you've put in a lot of effort but the results are not worth it. This is when 99% of people fall back into the safety of linear work. People with exponential thinking understand this law. They don't look at the immediate results. They are patient and disciplined in building systems, cultivating habits, knowing that they are working for the growth curve behind them. They are like the bamboo grower. It takes 4 to 5 years for the bamboo to grow just a few centimeters above the ground, because all the energy is used to build a huge root system underground. But once the root system is strong enough, it can grow tens of meters high in just a few weeks. They are patient in building their roots, instead of trying to chase short-term results. Another difference between these two ways of thinking is how they use energy. Linear thinking, try to do more at every step. They allocate energy in a spread-out way. Exponential thinking, look for leverage points, and put all the energy there. In any system or workflow, there is always a bottleneck that limits the speed of the entire system. Getting faster at all other stages is meaningless if you don't solve that problem. This is the do less but more effectively mindset. Instead of randomly increasing effort, they increase intelligence and structure. When necessary, they have the courage to cut out the 80% of work that doesn't create much value to focus all their efforts on the core 20% that brings the biggest results. For them, energy is not to be distributed, but to be converged and shot at the critical weak point of the problem. To do this, an extremely useful tool is systems thinking. Linear thinkers see a job as a thing to do. Exponential thinkers see it as a machine including input, process, output, feedback loop. When you design a task as a small system, you open up extraordinary possibilities. You can let others run it for you. You can install tools to automate part or all of the process. You can replicate it multiple times while ensuring consistent output quality. A good system doesn't just produce results. It produces results that are consistent, predictable, and can be improved over time. That's the difference between a problem solver and a problem solver machine builder. Systems thinking helps you climb a ladder out of life's biggest trap, trading time for money. The trap that keeps people trapped in a cycle of working hard all their lives without real freedom. This ladder has 4 steps. Step 1. Selling time. This is the lowest level. You sell hours, you sell days. Your income is limited to 24 hours. Most of us start here. Step 2. Selling results. This is a step up. You're not selling 40 hours of work, you're selling a finished website, a successful marketing campaign. Higher income and more autonomy, but you still have to be directly involved in each project. Essentially, you are still selling your skills and your time, just better packaged. Level 3. Selling intellectual property. This is the real leap. You package your knowledge and skills into products that can be sold over and over again. Online courses, books, designs, software, copyrights. You only spend effort creating it once, but can sell it thousands of times. Your income starts to be decoupled from your time. Level 4. Selling systems. This is the highest level of leverage. You are not just selling a product, you are creating a platform, an ecosystem, a machine that allows others to create value. Each higher level requires a deeper systems thinking, but also brings exponentially greater freedom and impact. Theory is meaningless without practice. Start changing your mindset today with this simple exercise. The goal is not to get the job done, but to build a machine for that job. Step 1. Identify the loop. Take a notebook and list 3 tasks you have to do repeatedly every week. Step 2. Anatomy of the process. Pick one of those 3 tasks. Write down every single step it takes to complete it. Write it as if you were coaching someone who has never done it before. Step 3. Find the leverage points. Look at the anatomy of your process. For each step, ask yourself 3 magic questions. Eliminate. Is this step really necessary? What are the consequences if I remove it? Automate. Is there a tool, software, or piece of code that can do this step for me? Delegate. Is this step simple enough that I can write it down in a checklist and assign it to someone else? Step 4. Build version 1.0. Based on your answer to step 3, make one small change to improve this process. Don't try to do it all at once. It could be a template file for a report, or setting up an autoresponder for an email. Step 5. Iterate and improve. Next week, when you do the same task again, use the new process. Then, spend 15 minutes thinking about how you can make it 1% better. After a few iterations, you'll see something magical. It may have taken you a few hours to set up initially, but you'll save dozens of hours in the future. But more importantly, your brain has started to change. You're no longer thinking, I have to get this done. You're starting to think, I have to build a system so I never have to worry about this again. That's when you start changing the question. When the question changes, the action changes. When the action changes, the results change. And one day soon, you will find yourself no longer working by the hour, but by the intelligence of the structures you have created. That is the first step on the path away from the linear path of progress and onto the highway of exponential growth, where intelligence is truly more valuable than sweat. There is a common misconception, a romantic myth that has held back countless possibilities, that is the belief that creativity is a gift from heaven, a fragile butterfly of inspiration that only happens to land on the shoulders of eccentric geniuses. We often imagine the creator as an artist sitting idly waiting for the muse to appear. The reality is quite the opposite. In the context we are discussing, the context of someone building a career from scratch, creativity is not a soaring art. It is an applied science, a craft of invention. Great inventors don't wait for inspiration. They proactively create an environment where ideas collide and emerge. They use their thinking tools to dissect problems from angles no one has tried before. And most importantly, they learn to see limitations not as barriers, but as specifications for a breakthrough design. If you don't have land, grow from yourself. This quote is not just about accumulating knowledge, but also a call to arms for the inventor's spirit. When you don't have resources, your greatest asset is not what you own, but your ability to create solutions that others need from what is available. Your capital is creativity. Principle number 1. Limitations are the most powerful catalyst. The average person looks at scarcity and sees a wall. The inventor looks at it and sees a design brief. Don't have much capital? Great. It forces you to think lean, agile, and efficient. You can't burn money on advertising, so you have to come up with $0 marketing, create valuable content to engage your audience. You can't build a killer product, so you have to create a minimal version that addresses a core customer pain point. Lack of capital is a ruthless filter that helps you eliminate all the clutter and focus on what really matters. Don't have a lot of time? Perfect. It forces you to become a master of efficiency and the 80-20th rule. You can't do everything, so you have to identify the 20% of your work that produces 80% of your results. You have to build systems and automate to free yourself from repetition. Time constraints are the crucible that eliminates the impurities of procrastination and perfection. Don't have a lot of support? Great. That forces you to design solutions so simple that one person can operate them, processes that are easy to replicate. The initial loneliness is the motivation to build self-operating machines instead of a bulky army. History has proven that many great inventions come not from abundance, but from scarcity. Cell phones were invented to solve the limitations of cable. Email was invented to solve the limitations of the speed of mail. Limits, if you know how to face them, are the most powerful catalysts for innovation. Don't curse your circumstances, see them as the rules of a game and find a way to win intelligently. Principle 2. The power of reverse thinking. When faced with a problem, 99% of people will try to find a way to go straight forward. Inventors, when stuck, do something strange. They go backward. Instead of asking, how do I achieve goal X? They reverse the question to, if I absolutely want to fail at achieving goal X, what will I need to do? Legendary investor Charlie Munger famously said, all I want to know is where I'm going to die, and I'm never going to go there. That's the essence of inversion thinking. It's a non-traditional tool for diagnosing risk and finding the right path. Try it. Goal: build a successful YouTube channel. Inversion question: how to build a YouTube channel that fails miserably? Answer: make videos about topics no one cares about. Have terrible audio and video quality. Never engage with your audience. Have boring titles. Don't have a consistent video release schedule. Copy other people's content. Result: this list of things to do to fail is a treasure map that shows you exactly what pitfalls you need to avoid. By avoiding all of them, you dramatically increase your odds of success. Inversion forces your brain to break out of its usual patterns of thinking. It's like you're walking down a road and only seeing straight ahead, then suddenly you climb a hill and look down at the landscape. You'll discover that opportunities aren't on a crowded road, but in the hidden corners that no one notices. Principle 3. Combinatorial creativity, the art of connecting the dots. No idea is truly 100% new. Most breakthrough ideas are just novel combinations of old ideas in a new context. Steve Jobs once said, "Creativity is just connecting things together." The human brain tends to categorize information into familiar boxes. To be creative, you have to actively break those boxes. Think of your knowledge as Lego bricks. The average person only has red bricks, and they can only build red houses. An inventor actively collects bricks from every color, every shape, a little bit from biology, a little bit from history, a little bit from music, a little bit from economics, and then combines them in ways no one has ever thought of. The founder of Uber looked at the peer-to-peer music file sharing model and thought, why not apply this model to car sharing? The founder of Airbnb looked at the eBay model and thought, why not apply this model to renting out spare rooms in your home? To do that, you need to build a diverse idea library in your head. Read lots of books and articles outside your field of expertise. Talk to people who do completely different jobs than you. Watch documentaries on topics you have never heard of. Actively look for similarities and repeating patterns between seemingly unrelated fields. Innovation does not come from nowhere. It comes from the unexpected intersection of already existing ideas. Principle 4. From idea to reality, the mantra of rapid prototyping. An idea, no matter how good, is worthless if it just sits in your head or on a piece of paper. Average people protect their ideas with secrecy. They fear being stolen. Inventors protect their ideas with speed of execution and iterative improvement. They don't try to build a perfect product in 12 months. Instead, they follow a process called the build, measure, learn loop. Build. Quickly create the simplest version of your idea, called a minimum viable product. This isn't the final product, but a prototype good enough to test your most core assumption. Measure. Get that MVP into the hands of a small group of potential users, and collect feedback, real data. Do they use it? What do they like? What do they hate? Learn. Based on the data you gathered, what did you learn about your idea? Were your assumptions right or wrong? Should you change, improve, or even abandon the idea to pursue a different direction? This loop helps you avoid the biggest mistake of spending months or years building something that no one wants. It helps you fail quickly, cheaply, and learn a lot along the way. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, just be afraid to go slowly. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to learn faster than your competitors. Put the above principles into action immediately. This exercise is designed to force you to think and act like an inventor in a very short period of time. Phase 1. Idea extraction. Take a piece of paper, divide it into 2 columns. Column A, My Assets. List 5 things you know, are good at, or are passionate about. Column B, Market Problem. List 5 problems, pain points, or desires that you see people around you encounter. Connect. Now, try drawing lines from column A to column B to generate solution ideas. Phase 2. Design MVP. Pick the most viable idea from phase 1. Now, answer the ultimate question, what ridiculously simple version of this idea can I create right now to test if anyone is interested? Phase 3. Launch. Your challenge is to launch your super simple MVP into the world within the next 24 hours. Send it to 10 friends. Post it on your personal page. Share it in a relevant group. The goal of this exercise is not to make money. The goal is to break the inertia of fear and procrastination. The goal is to experience the complete build, measure, learn loop for yourself. The outcome is not as important as the action. When you have trained yourself to think like an inventor, you have the foundation to turn your mind into a value factory. You are no longer limited by your circumstances, because you know how to create solutions within those limitations. This is the moment you truly step into the path of being an innovator of the future, instead of just a victim of the present. Many of us spend our lives learning. We read hundreds of books, take dozens of courses, listen to countless podcasts. We accumulate knowledge like a diligent collector, building a magnificent library in our minds. But then one day, we are shocked to realize a harsh truth, that library has no one visiting, and our lives have not changed at all. We are still stuck in a busy loop, still having to exchange time for every penny. The reason is not that you are not smart enough or your knowledge is not good enough. The problem is that you have not learned the art of alchemy, the art of turning common elements of knowledge into pure gold of assets. Knowledge is only potential power. It is like a battery that has not been installed in a device. Intellectual property is activated power. It is a flow of value that is created systematically, regularly, without your constant presence. The gap between these two concepts is a transformation process. Not just learning to know, but learning to create value, and even higher, learning to package that value into something that can be sold, distributed, and replicated at scale. This is the final and most important step in the journey of using the brain to create destiny. The alchemist's path includes 4 stages, and you cannot skip any stage. Every great work starts with a solid brick. In the world of intellectual labor, that brick is a high-value skill. In the information age, general knowledge becomes cheap, but a sharp, rare skill becomes invaluable. A skill is considered high value when it meets all 3 factors. Large market demand. There are plenty of people or businesses willing to pay to solve the problem that the skill is targeting. High leverage. The skill has the potential to produce results that are many times greater than the effort put into it. Hard to copy. It requires a combination of deep knowledge, real-world experience, critical thinking, and disciplined practice. It's not something that can be learned by watching a 5-minute video. Your goal at this stage is simple. Pick a skill, and become so good that it can't be ignored. Be obsessed with it. Learn from the best, practice every day, and build a deep foundation of expertise. This stage isn't about getting rich, it's about sharpening your sword. Once your sword is sharp enough, it's time to take it to the field. This stage is when you start selling your skill as a service. This is an extremely important step and cannot be skipped for 2 reasons. Generate cash flow. It gives you your first source of income, helps you cover your living expenses and has capital to invest in the following stages. It is a real laboratory. This is the most effective learning environment. Working with real customers, solving real problems will teach you lessons that no course can. You will deeply understand the pain of the market, learn how to manage projects, communicate and value your value. At this stage, focus on building social proof. Every successful project, every positive comment from a customer, Every case study of the results you create is a brick that builds your reputation. Initially, reputation is more important than money. Start small, work at affordable prices to build your portfolio, then gradually increase your prices as the results you bring become more obvious. This was the revolutionary leap, the moment the alchemist performed his first miracle, turning time into wealth. When you sell a service, you are still selling your time and effort. If you stop doing it, the money stops coming in. Packaging is the process of turning your knowledge, experience, and processes that you have repeated over and over into a product that can be sold over and over again. Products turn your knowledge into assets, because they can exist, operate, and generate income even when you are not there. Consider the spectrum of products you can create, from simple to complex. Level 1, easy to create. Ebooks, checklists, guides, templates. Level 2, medium. A recorded workshop, a short online course. Level 3, complex. An in-depth course, a software toolkit, a group coaching program. How to get started. Look at your service business. What problem do you solve for customers on a regular basis? That is the topic of your product. Do you have a process, a checklist, a formula to solve that problem? That is the core content of the product. What questions do customers ask you most? That is what you need to answer in the product. If a good product is a money-making machine, then a strong personal brand is a factory. This final stage is where you build a system to attract customers and sell your product automatically and sustainably. In the age of information noise, people don't just buy products, they buy the people and the beliefs behind them. Personal brands are a large-scale trust-building machine. A strong brand helps customers find you, instead of you having to chase them. It allows you to sell products at a higher price because of the added trust value. It naturally attracts opportunities, partners, and like-minded people. Building a personal brand is not about selling yourself. It is about giving value generously and consistently. Pick a platform. Blog, YouTube, podcast, LinkedIn. Pick a place where your potential customers hang out. Share your knowledge. Give away 90% of what you know in your field for free. Teach, guide, answer questions. This will establish you as an expert, an authority in the eyes of your community. Build an email list. This is the most important asset in your ecosystem. Social media may change its algorithms, but your email list is the direct connection you own. Create an ecosystem of value. Free content to attract strangers. Bait products to exchange for emails, turning strangers into followers. Top of the funnel products to turn followers into customers. Core products to bring the most value and main revenue. Premium services to a small group of customers. When you build this ecosystem, you are no longer selling a single product. You are taking customers on a value journey, and you have created a harmonious, sustainable machine. We started this journey on a cement plane, with a general feeling of not owning any land. You have learned to plant seeds in your mind. You have equipped yourself with a multidimensional thinking operating system to create. You have grasped the law of exponential growth to bend reality. You have lit the inventor's fire to turn limitations into opportunities. And finally, you have in your hands the alchemist's map to turn knowledge into wealth. Now, Look back. The land you once desired, it was never out there. With your own intelligence and perseverance, you created it yourself. It is a fertile territory of knowledge, a digital ecosystem of value that you are the ruler of, and no one can take it away from you. You are no longer a seeker of land. You have become the land. This journey does not end here. It has only begun. The most powerful tools are in your hands. Now it is time to start building. Go and create your own universe.